Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sure Jan Podcast. I'm your host, Janice M. And I hope everyone out there is having an amazing day. Welcome to Sure Jan Podcast. I'm your host, Janice M, where we'll be talking about what it's like being single and dating in your 20s and 30s. So let's get some wine and popcorn and get real about what it's really like. This episode, and so I ended up talking a fucking full 40 minutes about my last sexual experience. So make sure y'all listen to that. Just to give you a little keynotes. He used to do porn, and he's 24, and he has a big dick. So yeah, just to give you a little summary of that. But if you want to listen to the full detail of that actual story, listen to the episode prior to that. But what's going on, everybody? I know I've been gone. Like I said, I don't do this. I feel like I should stop explaining myself every single fucking time I come on, and that I've stopped talking for a gap of time because I feel like it's the same shit. So I'm gonna stop doing that. Because I feel like I keep doing it, and I'm like, why? Why are you doing this all the fucking time? I don't think they care. So, yeah, I've been I feel like I'm on the path now, of just wanting a fuck buddy, just living my best fucking life this summer, because I'm just very much over the whole, I don't know. I don't really want to do a relationship right now. I mean, if it happens, it happens, right? That's not what I'm directing myself and wanting to do, and I just don't feel like it's in the cards for me right now, on where the path that I want my life to go right now is a relationship. I already have enough shit on my plate right now. A relationship is probably something that's just going to be a lot on my plate. So I just rather deal with the shit that I'm dealing with now, and then when I'm okay, then possibly get into a relationship and get into that whole nitty gritty of that shit. But right now, I am good with fucking these men and potentially, hopefully, having a situation where it's I have a fuck buddy situation. So that's what I'm aiming for. That's the goal. That's really what I want. So, but yeah, anyways, I was thinking, right? I don't know if I would even consider a situationship. I feel like I hate situationships so much. And if no one knows what a situationship is, I'm going to give you the Google definition. A romantic or sexual relationship that is not considered to be formal or established. Okay? So, pretty much, you're literally in a relationship without it being called a relationship type of thing, right? So, you're kind of seeing somebody, but you're not exclusive. You don't have a situation where you're exclusive. So they can do whatever the fuck they want, and you can do whatever the fuck you want, which is nice somewhat, but then it's not the greatest. I mean, I personally fucking hate them, but that's me. I don't know. I feel like everybody has different approaches when it comes to situationships anyways. You could be using it for, trying to figure out how to, how you're going to be able to interact in a relationship. How you're going to be able to, interact with somebody romantically. So it's kind of a test run before you actually give it a go for it to be a relationship, right? Some people just kind of want to do that, kind of feel it out first and then go about it like that, right? Also, you have, some people that you can make decision and explore, your passion separately from another person. You're not going on this journey together. You can go on your journey separately. You kind of have that, meaning you can start a new life. So if you want to move to another state or you want to move to another country, you kind of have that freedom to make that decision, because you're not making a decision based off a relationship that you're having with that person, because you're not in a relationship. You're in a situationship, which is it's not defined yet. So you kind of have that, freedom to just kind of if you want to start a new life, like, you have that freedom. Like, nothing's really holding you back in that sense, right? And then like other people like do it for a more like, you know, sex reason, or they just want to. Sometimes people like, you know, use situationships in senses of like, you know, more for, you know, they're looking for that intimacy, or they're looking for, you know, that like that, I don't know, I how should I say this, they're looking for that, you know, closeness, the, you know, like the, you know, sometimes people just like to cuddle. Sometimes people just want to be cuddled. They want to be held. They want to make out with somebody. They just want to just do like cutesy shit, but like without being like, oh, I have to do this with my boyfriend all the time. It's like without that shit, you know? But I don't know. It just, there's, and then like, I'll say this last pro about it, like a last good thing about it, I should say, is like, you know, maybe like you just need a situationship for a part of your life, right? So like if you're in your early 20s or your mid 20s and you're not looking for, you know, a relationship, and you just kind of, you want that connection or that intimacy with somebody, and you want to have a situationship or whatever, like maybe that will work out for you in like that time period, right? So sometimes it's like situationships are not meant to be a long-term thing. They're meant to be like not, you know, it's either it's going to be a situationship. If it's going to ever turn into a long-term thing, that means it's going to turn into a fucking relationship, right? Because you can't like stay in a situationship forever. Like there has to be a situation. Shit, I keep saying situation. There has to be like a point in your like thing that you're having with this person where it's like, are we going to keep continuing to do this? Or I need to end this because I actually want a relationship and you don't, or, you know, whatever the case may be. Or you're going to continue to be like, I want more out of this. And if you don't want to give me more or whatever, like it's, most of the time situationships do not end in a good way. Yeah, they don't really end in a good way. Like I've had a couple situationships in my day. And like obviously they ended horribly. And it just sucked. It like really sucks. Sometimes like when you're in a situationship, like it's not consistent. It's not stable. I feel like you're driving a car, you're driving a car with three wheels. Like it's not like it's wobbly as fuck. Like it's not stable. You're not in a good situation. You know what I mean? Like, or like you're on a tightrope. Like I'm on a tightrope with a balance, like, you know, stick in my hand trying to walk a fucking tightrope. Like it's not, I'm not gonna like, I'm gonna be wobbly as fuck the entire, to try and get to the end of where it's supposed to, like where it's gonna end, right? Who wants to live in that type of constant anxiousness, constant like that's your entire thought process, especially if you know, you don't know. That's like the biggest thing on it, right? You don't know like where this is going. You don't know if it's, you know, some people don't even know they're in situationships, right? Where they're, you know, they may think they're in a relationship, but in reality they're not. Like, you know, I feel like when you're with somebody and you're getting to know somebody, you're dating somebody, at one point you need to have let's determine the relationship. Like, where are we at? Like, what are we doing? You know, because ain't nobody trying to waste their motherfucking time if people are just not wanting to, if one person wants to commit and the other one does. It like never works out that way. So it's not consistent, or it's not stable. Like you're not in like a stable environment. Like it's just not. It's just, and then you're putting yourself, and like you're really putting yourself out there, right? You're so like vulnerable to this person, like, because sometimes when you're in situationships, you get fucking caught up in that shit. So, you know, I was in a situationship where I fucking let my guard down and I started like, you know, opening myself up to this person. I made myself super vulnerable, like emotionally vulnerable to this person. And then that shit bit me in the ass, and it didn't pan the way I wanted it to pan. You know, it just worked. I don't know, it just worked out. It did not work out well with him and I. well, I've had a couple of situationships, but, and one that, where I was super emotionally invulnerable, because you are, though, because you are doing all the basis of a relationship, right? You're dating them, you're going out, you're like hanging out with them, and they just have never determined the relationship, and you're just in a weird position where it's like, but we're not, it's like, you can't even really get mad if, they start talking to other people, because they didn't determine that shit. They didn't say like, yeah, you're my, or we're exclusively dating. Like, I can only date you, you can only date me. You know what I mean? Or whatever. And you just kind of sit in some fucking limbo of, when you're in a situationship, you're literally sitting in limbo. Like, you do not know where you're gonna go. You're either gonna go, like, you're gonna go somewhere where it's good, where you actually are in a relationship, or you're gonna end up where, like, you're single and you're no longer talking to this person. Like, it's over between you and that person because it's just not working out. So it's so tough being in those type of situations. And I'm not gonna even lie, like, I personally hate it with a passion. I hate being in situationships. That's why I just rather, it's like, either, we are going to date and we're going to date exclusively and we're going to go from there, or we're going to not do this and part our separate ways and, not, fucking talking shit. Like, I never talk to you again. Goodbye. You know what I mean? Like, so it's one of those things where it's so like undetermined that it just, like, even talking about it is making me like, ugh, I hate it. Like, there's no growth there. You're not moving anywhere. You're literally staying stuck. Like, you're not moving to a better thing with this person. You're not moving to evolve. You're not moving to, like, grow your relationship with this person, because you're literally fucking stuck in limbo, because, like, you're like just in a situation. You're not even, like, you're getting some perks, but you're not getting the full, like, you're not getting the full shebang of a full-blown relationship. Like, you don't get the, like, the cute things of, being in a relationship. Like, even meeting their, like, you're not going to really meet their friends like that. Like, you might, but what are they going to introduce you as? That's, like, the weird thing. Like, they're never going to, like, you're not going to get that. Like, I would never bring, like, a situationship in my social setting. Like, normally it's a very compartmentalized, like, it's very compartmentalized. So it's like, I don't know if I'm even fucking saying that word right. Y'all know, like, I can't fucking say shit. I can't say words, so whatever. But, like, it's like that, where it's like, even your social settings, like, why would you even, I wouldn't want to bring somebody that I'm in a situationship into any of my social settings, because, like, how are you going to introduce this person? How are you going to interact with this person? Are you guys going to be lovey-dovey like you're in a relationship? Are you guys going to just be like, like, we're going to stand on opposite ends of the room like we're strangers? Like, how do you even interact? Like, I just feel like it's such an awkward thing, like, going into. So, like, it's like, let me avoid it at all costs. So then that sucks. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm in a relationship and I'm around my girls, like, I want to show my man off. Like, I want to be like, this is my man. This is how great he is. You know what I mean? Like, I have one of my friends, she, like, her boyfriend, he's so great. And she, like, brings him around, and, she, like, it was so cute. We had went out last weekend, and, he was like celebrating his birthday, and he came out with us, which I thought was really cute, that he hung out with us for his birthday instead of, them doing something like intimate. I mean, they did intimate shit like throughout the weekend, but it was nice that he came and like hung out with us. But, like, I saw her, like, being super lovey-dovey with him, and it was cute, because she was just like, yeah, this is my man, like, you know what I mean? Like, she was showing, it was nice, like, to see that. And, like, when you're in a situationship, you can't do that shit. Like, you can't. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's, like, weird to bring that type of weird to bring that type of situationship into, like, your social setting. Like, I don't know. I would be kind of embarrassed. I don't know about, like, any other, or feel like kind of, I don't know, like, pathetic in a sense. Like, this is not, like, what am I doing here? Why am I even bringing this person around and not knowing what, the end goal of this of this thing that we're doing, like the end goal of this situation, you know? Like, another way to, like, because you guys aren't exclusively dating each other and don't make that a thing where you're exclusively dating that person, they can fuck and do whatever the fuck they want to do with anybody else. Granted, you can do it too. However, like, damn, like, I am invested, like, you're kind of like, some people like invest themselves in their situationships and they kind of like put it in, and it's kind of like, all right, why am I kind of doing this with this person if he's like fucking other people? Like, I can't feel, you know, I'm going to have to think in the back of my mind, like, is he talking to somebody else? Is he sliding in other people's DMs? Is he on dating websites? Is he actively dating while like we're doing our thing? Like, is this happening? Like, so you're always like, when you're in a situationship, you are not only in the situation with this person, but like they could be in, you know, shit with other people. So you're like, other people are involved in your shit. You know what I mean? Like he can fuck God knows who, and obviously you can fuck whoever you want, which, you know, if that's your thing and that's what you want, like, by all means do it up. And like, I'm not trying to judge you, but like in another sense of like having that happen, like what benefit does that do? Like, what does this do for me? What does this do for you? Like, what? I can't even bring you around my friend. Like, I can't even really bring you around my friends, because then, like, when you introduce them, what do you introduce them as? Oh, this is my friend. Like, this is my friend Eric. This is my friend Eric. Like, you know, like, we're not. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird because, like, I'm not fucking my friends. I'm not, like, going on dates with my friends like that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not doing that. So it's weird that I'm introducing you that as even if I feel like I have, like, some connection with you, I can't, you know, I want to, like, parade you around. I want to be like, yeah, this is my man Eric. Like, I want to say these things, you know? So it's one of those things where you're thinking about, you know, when I bring him around or I bring them around, what am I thinking about? Like, how am I gonna like say who you are or what our situation is, or like, how do I explain our situationship to like my friends? You know what I mean? Like, it's already complicated for me as it is. And now I have to explain to people what the fuck we're doing. Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, so it's one of those things where you're like, yeah, no. Like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to bring you around people that, like, I love and care about. Like, I don't want to do that where I have to sit and try and explain what we are and what we're doing and why I'm, like, kind of settling for this type of situation. Like, why am I settling for the situationship? Like, you know, or like, you know, some of my other, like, my judgier friends that are just going to look at me and be like, you know, like, what the fuck are you doing? You know? Like, what is this? Like, what are you, like, you're not even, you can only make short-term goals with this person. Like, there's no long-term goal with this person. It's like, that's basically what you're in. And it's like, you know, everything is just not, there's no, like, future. There's, like, no, there's not no light at the end of the tunnel type of thing. Like, it's literally, like, no future going, like, forward with that, you know? Listen, some people don't think that they're in situationships at all. Like, you may think, or you're like, you know, you're uncertain on what you're actually in. Like, 9 out of the 10 times you're most likely in a situationship, right? Like another, like, place to, like, kind of figure out if you're in a situationship. So, like, if I kind of want to give you guys, like, you know, some things to, like, look out for, and then, or if you are not certain that you're in a situationship, like, these are kind of like little telltale signs that you are actually in one, and whether you want to continue it or not, like, just so that you're more self-aware. Because sometimes, like, like I said, sometimes you just don't know if you're in these things. And so, the last thing you need to know is like, oh, okay, like, I've been in this situationship for like months and I didn't even realize I was in one. I literally thought we were together, or I thought we were dating, or I thought we were doing this, and in reality you were not. You know what I mean? So like, if I can give you something, right? Like there's like no consistency, right? So it could be like 1 week they're like asking you out, like they're like, let's hang out all these days, and then it'll be like, and then you won't see them for another 2 weeks, or they're like busy, or that's the thing that sucks, right? Because like, remember when I was like saying like they're not consistent and they're not like really committed? Like that's why I said it's like, it's a very compartmentalized relationship. That's why I was trying to explain it in the beginning, because they don't owe you shit. They don't owe you shit, nor do you owe them anything, right? So like, I kind of want to be transparent here. Like, just as much as like they don't owe you shit, you don't owe them shit either. Like, you can do whatever you want. But if you are the type of person that's like actually like, committing yourself to this person when you're not getting that same commitment back, like they're very, sometimes like, they're making plans with you, like they're not consistent. Like they could just be making plans with you this week and then kind of ghost you, like ghost hanging out with you like the next week or whatever. Like it's not consistent. Or they're like, they always make excuses, like, oh, work's really busy. That's why you haven't heard from me, which I hate. I literally hate that. Or like, I need to hit the gym. I'm traveling. Like, it's just so crazy for me. Like, when you're in a situationship, they can give you those type of like blah, blah, blase fucking answers. You know what I mean? Because they don't know you shit, right? And when you're in a relationship with somebody, they make fucking time for you. So say like if I'm busy and I'm like, I have a huge project towards the end of the week. And they'd be like, hey, like I have a huge project towards the end of the week. Like I definitely want to hang out with you, but let's like make plans for like Friday. Like let's celebrate me not having to do this presentation and us just being together. Like when you're in a relationship, they actually fucking make time for you. When you're in a situationship, you're going to start to see that like these like excuses of, I gotta do a lot of stuff, or I'm really, really busy this week, or yeah, I haven't texted you back in like a day or so because I had all this stuff. It's like, it takes like 5 seconds to text somebody, even if you're like, hey, just wanted to let you know, like, I'm not like ignoring you. I'm just super, super busy. I just kind of wanted you to know, like, I still like, I want to talk to you, but obviously it's just whatever. Like, communication is key. And like, when you're in a situationship, like, communication's trash. It's garbage, right? Like, you literally they don't give a fuck. They feel like, all right, I'm going to give you some like blase blah answer and you're just going to have to deal with it. Right? So like, yeah. And then when you guys do have conversations, they're not like long stringed out conversations like you would if you're texting your boyfriend or your girlfriend or something. It's very short. And like half of my situationships, like normally the times that we would talk, like conversations would go from being like normal to super, super sexual, like really fast. Like, granted, I would love to do that with like, I would want to do that with my boyfriend, but it's like really like when you're in situationships, it's really like that. Like, and then like, and then you gotta get to a point where like, that starts to become like super, super comfortable. Like, oh, like the only time me and you have conversations is like when we're talking about like sex or something, or like, that's like our natural, you know what I mean? Because instead of you feel more comfortable, or they feel more comfortable talking dirty to you and saying all these things that they do with you with sex, instead of talking about what stuff do they fear in life, their insecurities, like what they've learned from like past like relationships, or what they've done in their, what they want for their future. Like they rather say like, hey, I want to stick my dick in your ass, or I want to put my dick in your mouth, or whatever. I want you to ride this dick. They rather have those type of conversations with you than actually have a real in-depth conversations. So if you are starting to see a pattern where you guys are really having like intellectual, like really personal, like intimate conversations, and most of your conversations lead to y'all fucking and y'all talking about how y'all gonna fuck, then yeah, you're probably in a situationship. You know what I mean? Like, things are, The math is, if the math is if 1 plus 1 is 2, honey, you in a situationship. Okay. And like, it's really like I said, when they talking about their fears, if they don't even like talk about like the future with you, if they're very just, if it's very like they're just talking to you about things like in the moment and not like, and I want to do blah, 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 blah. Like, know that they're not willing to open up to you. Know that they don't want to be vulnerable with you at all. Like, those are telltale signs like this person doesn't want like a commitment with you because they're not even trusting you with their most intimate thoughts, with their most intimate feelings and all that stuff. Like, that to you right there should like be your warning sign. Like, shit, I'm in a situationship and shit, this person doesn't trust me enough to like open up and tell me these type of things, and they don't even want to talk about the future with me or talk about their future or anything along those lines. Yeah, I need to back my ass out, or or just know what it is and either deal with it because I'm fine with that, or get out of that situation. Because if you are looking for a relationship and this is not exactly what you want, then yeah. And this is like, a big thing. And I am guilty of this shit too, right? I'm guilty of, I feel like I said this in my like last episode when I was talking about one of the guys that I was like dating at the time that straight up told me, I'm not looking for a relationship. Like, straight up told me that. And I kept holding on to it, and we were doing things, and then I felt like I was like, oh, maybe, because he's like doing different, you know what I mean? Like, the way we are with each other, I feel like, there's a connection there. Like, maybe I'll like wear him down or something, which is like such an idiotic way to think about like wanting someone to be with you. It's like, I'm gonna wear you down till you have nothing left, until I'm your last fucking option. And like, in reality, like, that's what the fuck I was doing, right? And like, when you think that way and you have that type of mindset, it's just kind of like, fuck, I want you to have no other options but me, and I'm gonna make sure like I stick it out until you have nothing and I'm the only option left, right? And it's like, no, you're supposed to be the only, like, the first option and the only option that they want to be, but you shouldn't be the second last or the last thing that they're gonna think about, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, when they tell you I don't want this, like fully understand. When they start to like kind of throw in little things like, yeah, I'm not looking to, I don't really want to like, settle down too early, or when they start like, throwing in hints, like, understand those are hints to tell you like, nah, baby, I don't want this type of relationship. I want a situationship where I want us to just be fuck buddies, or I want us to just be friends with benefits, or I want us to be this. Like, that's pretty much what they're saying. Or they're like, I want my cake and eat it too. I want things with you, but be able to do whatever the fuck I want to do on my own. Like, I just feel like that's kind of like, that should be like your telltale sign of like, if you're seeing these things, like, that's like the underlining of what they're really trying to tell you. People like, and then like, men, I feel, as we think they're super complicated, right? Like, I know me, like, certain things about men, like, they're all kind of, some men are like kind of they're kind of all the same with certain things, like certain character. Like, I feel like when I talk to my guy friends, they're like, we actually like, if we tell you something, like, listen to what we're saying to you. So if I'm saying to you, like, I don't want a relationship, understand that's what it is. Like, I'm being very, like, forward, and I'm being very honest and truthful with you. Like, I don't want a relationship, and then, like, that's it. So you thinking things in your mind, or thinking like, oh, maybe, or it's like, oh, I don't know if I want a relationship right now, but like, I'm kind of seeing like, when guys like fucking say that shit to me, like, oh, I'm kind of like, I kind of want to do something casual, and then if it turns into something, then that's great. And I'm like, it's never going to turn into something. You just want to have somebody to fuck and then go about your day. And then if it's like if it's a great fuck, then you're going to keep them around and then keep pushing on and doing the same fucking thing. So, when they are telling you, when they're giving you like hints that they don't want a relationship or they don't want to settle down or they don't want to be exclusive, read that shit. When they tell you that, put it like, make it seem like that is like law, like it's like a law. Like it's like, in print, that shit is print, it's like up, it's, it's plastered, it's laminated, like that shit is up there. Meaning like if they're fucking telling you that shit, like understand that is exactly what the fuck they mean. So when people tell you they want to be serious, they don't want a relationship, they don't want to shit, like understand that's exactly what they're saying. Like don't think like, oh maybe, no. I was oh maybe, and that shit blew the fuck up in my face. So, like it's just it is what it is. Honestly, like it is what it is. As like, some of them are like, some guys are like fucking dicks, and like, I mean, it's a way you come about it. Like some guys can say it in like a shitty fucking way, and then some guys can like literally be like, listen, like I'm really not looking for a relationship, or I just got out of a relationship. Those are like those are the worst ones. I just got out of a serious relationship. I'm just looking for something like, I'm just looking kind of like to meet people and then kind of seeing where it goes, whatever. Those are like the worst people to like fucking try and get into things with. Know that if you are ever talking to somebody that just got out of a relationship, know that it's only going to be a physical thing. It's never going to be emotional. It's never going to be mental. Automatically know that is never going to be a thing for you. I'm just saying. Like, a person that jumps into a relationship to another relationship that hasn't mourned the actual relationship that they were in, yeah, you're taking on a lot of baggage of their past relationship into whatever you're going through. That's a no anyways. So, and you can get your ass in a situationship that you don't want to be in. Because those are really easy to get into with people that just got out of other relationships. Because they're still in their mind of how to be in a relationship. So when they move on to you, sometimes they're like, they do like relationship-ish stuff. So then you get caught up in that shit, and then you realize, and then they kind of like throw the, I'm not ready, like, the other relationship was a lot for me, and blah, 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 It's just, yeah. Do it. Those ones are like red flags. Those guys are like red flags for me. They're like, I just got out of a relationship. Nope! Bye! If I'm actively trying to date, goodbye, see you later. Or if I'm just like, okay, this is gonna be like a fuck thing, alright, whatever, dude. I know it's never gonna be anything other than what it is, right? But, yeah, it's one of those things where, you just have to, there's like no reading in between the lines. There's literally like, it's just point blank, it's right there. So like when people are kind of telling you that they don't want anything serious, like really believe what the fuck they're saying. Like, and like all the things I was saying before, like the, they're making short-term goals with you, like, they talk about short-term goals, Jesus, I can't talk, like, the fact that other people can be involved within your situationship, like, they could be stepping out and doing other stuff with other people, you're never gonna grow with this person, like, relationships are like, you grow in relationships, like, you both grow together, like, you're not gonna grow in a situationship, I promise you that, and, like, honestly, you're gonna get fucking bored. When people are in relationships, like, relationships are work, right? And if somebody's in a situationship, they're not willing to put in the fucking effort as much as they would if they're actually in a relationship. If I'm dating somebody and, like, we want to keep our relationship alive, we want to keep it, like, going, we want to, like, spice it up, we want to do things to make it better, right? When you're in a situationship, you don't really have those type of thoughts. Like, it gets to a point where it's gonna just fizzle out. Right? When you're in a relationship, it's not like, relationships aren't like, oh, we get to a point that we just fizzled out. Like, that's like some high school, like, younger kids type of shit. Or like, when you're an adult and you're like, you're actively wanting to be in a relationship, or you're actively like, putting yourself out there or putting yourself in a relationship, whatever, you're committing yourself to somebody, you're going to put in work to make that shit. You're going to put in the work to make it work. Right? When you're in a situationship, you're less likely to want to, like, fucking, be with this, you're less likely to like want to do that for this person that's not even committing to you. You get what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna get bored super fucking easy, and it's gonna fizzle out. That's why a lot of situationships do not last, because they fizzle fucking out. Because you get to a point where you're like, why am I putting in all this motherfucking effort for what? Like, what am I putting in all this effort for? For somebody that's like not even giving me the same effort that I'm giving back. Like, it's one of those things, like, when you're in that, you're like, yeah. Like, a lot of people, like, so say, like, let me rewind. Say that you are, all the things that I'm saying to you, and you're reflecting, you're like, fuck, I'm actually in a situationship, right? So say, like, now we're in it, right? We're in the situationship. Okay? You're probably gonna you might listen to this episode or whatever and think like, am I really in one? Like, am I really in a situationship? Like, start reflecting back, like, like, some people, they even, like, with me, I can only give obviously personal examples, but when that guy told me that, like, he didn't want anything serious, blah, 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 I put my own personal feelings aside to satisfy, like, his needs. Like, the fact that he didn't want a relationship, I put the fact that I wanted a relationship, I wanted a commitment, I wanted all these things, but because I liked him and like, wanted just our thing to keep going with him, because I felt connected to him in whatever my brain was wired to believing. And, in the end, I was just kind of like, literally, who like, fucking, like, I didn't gain shit. I didn't gain anything into this situation. Like, I didn't gain anything. I was the loser in this situation. Like, not him. Like, he's just, like, living his best motherfucking life. But I was the loser in that situation, because I put myself out there. When he said it to me again, he was just kind of like, yeah, like, we can, like, I wasn't giving me the shit that I needed. And I was being, like, it was very, very one-sided. It wasn't a two-way street. It was super one-way. Like, it was literally, like, a dead end. Like, I was going to a part where where there was a big halt and I couldn't go anywhere else. Like, that's how I felt I was in that, when I was in it. So it's like, like, you gotta, like, look at these things. Like, I just feel like I put people's needs, and I know other women have put people's needs ahead of theirs just to satisfy that person, because, like, you think their feelings are going to change, you know what I mean? Like, you just hold on to that hope. And so you put your own personal feelings aside because you're holding on to hope. Like, shit always doesn't, like, pan out that way. Like, but listen, if you are in a situationship, I'm not judging you at all. I feel like I don't want to come off as if I'm judging somebody that's in a situationship. If that's cool for you, do you, boo. Do you. Like, honestly, if that's cool for you, but at least set some motherfucking boundaries. Like, set boundaries. Like, if y'all are going to do a situationship where you guys are, like, doing your thing, but you can also do things with other people, set boundaries. Like, I don't want to hear about people that you're having sex with. I don't want to hear about things that you're doing with other people. I don't want to hear that you're having dates. I don't want to hear about things like that. Or, like, you don't need to know where I'm going. Like, you need to set like, boundaries or whatever. Like, like I said, I don't need to know who you're sleeping with. Are we actually going to start to do overnight? Like, should we do sleepovers? Like, are sleepovers going to be a thing? Be on the same fucking page with the same expectations. Like, if you both have the same expectations and you're both on the same page with a situationship, by all means, do it up. But most of the time, like, I would say, like, out of 10 situationships, maybe, like, two or three are maybe on the same page, and I may be over like, stretching it, whatever. Like, I may be overdoing it, but, you know, if they're in it and everybody's both on the same page, then by all means do it. But most of the time, one person is down for the situationship and the other one's not, or the other one's just putting their feelings aside, hoping that the other person's going to be on the same page as them. Like, that's it. That's it. There's no in between. There's no anything else. So it's like literally one of those things where you're like, yeah. We're not on the same page here. Ooh, our expectations are not the same. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like that's why whenever I talk about anything with relationships, communication is like fucking huge. You gotta set the boundaries. Like, you gotta like set the stone. Like, you gotta set that shit from the get-go. Like, right from the start. If you're gonna stay committed to this type of situationship, then you need to like do your part and do the things that you have to do in order for the situationship to, you know, be what it is and for you to be comfortable with it. You know, I hate the not knowing, because it makes me super anxious, and you start to get anxiety about things like, you know, how does he really feel about me? Like, you just start thinking about a lot of stuff, and it's just like, I don't want these thoughts. I don't want to think about, you know, I don't want to think about, like, is he going to call me? Or, like, you know, is he talking to somebody else? Or is he doing, you know what I mean? I don't want to think about those things. Like, it just gets you anxious. Like, situationships just don't, like, for me, they have been failed experience after failed experience after failed experience after failed experience, right? There were sometimes I didn't even realize I was in a fucking situationship. And then I didn't realize at first I was in it. Obviously, eventually I figured it out. But, like, I was like, fuck, I didn't even know I was in one. What the hell? You know, it's one of those things where you're like, fuck, I didn't even realize I was in one. What the fuck? You know what I mean? What the hell? It's tough. It's tough. It's tough. But for me, it's not for me. Like I said, 2 out of 10, I do not recommend them. They're fucking god awful. I hate them. I don't know many people that are in situationships that are like, well, I don't think I know anybody that's in one that is very happy where they're at. Likes that they're in one, whatever. And you can't even call situationships like an open relationship, because it's not. They're not. It's not. That's not the base of it. Like, because if you're in an open relationship, you're actually in a relationship. Like, define the relationship was defined. Like, it was defined. It's not a situationship anymore. You know what I mean? I don't want to get it twisted like that's what the fuck it is, because it's not. So, yeah. I'm gonna get off my little rant about situationships and how, like, I think they're awful, but, like, hey, if it works for you, like, I am happy for you. And if anybody has an example or has an experience with a situationship that actually didn't end as badly, or it like was amicable and it was fine and you still cool with this person, like all that shit, please let me know. Slide into my DMs or shoot me an email or shoot me a motherfucking text. Y'all have I put my number, like my podcast number in there. Y'all can text me. It's fine. But yeah, let me know. Cause I'm super curious. You know, like what y'all think. But on that note, I am going to end this episode. On that note, I wanted to kind of like give you guys like kind of a little bit of an update. So I am actually going to be trying to do something super special with my Patreon. In my next episode, I am going to give a snippet of what I am going to be offering in my Patreon. Obviously, Patreon is it's paid for. You pay for exclusive content. And like, I know I talk really raunchy, but Patreon, I can talk as dirty and nasty as I fucking want. And I am gonna be starting to do, I actually got this amazing idea, for someone on my team, and It is literally, I used to have, okay, so give you a little quick background before and I said, I was like, I'm going to end this episode, but I'm talking for another 7 minutes. I used to have a sex blog, and I always wanted to bring that back. I'm such a, when I tell stories, I like to I don't like to type them out. I hate to do that. So this will be my version of my of my past experience, because your girls fucked a few people, so I got some stories for days. Yeah. So I want to start doing that, and maybe I'll give you guys a little taste next episode, and yeah, you guys let me know what you think. But yes, I will let you guys know when I actually put that content out, and then if you guys are curious, or people that are like to listen to that shit, support me. Sign up for my Patreon. It's $5. We got $5 to spend every month. That'd be great. But when I get into doing that, I will let you guys know. It's in the works right now, so yes. But I love you guys. I hope you guys have an amazing, amazing week. We're about to hit Friday, so I hope you have a great weekend. You get your back blown out, and you have as many orgasms as you want. So, love you guys. Mwah. Bye.